Hello everyone and welcome! Happy Monday! Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's see if technology helps today. The internet, OBS, etc. The wind even can interrupt my connection. So, today I have an interesting thread about a Russian psychologist that spent 10 years, yes, 10 years, proving that the act of talking to yourself out loud is one of the most powerful cognitive tools the human brain has, and almost nobody outside his field has read the work. So, let's begin. Let's commence. This is L.S. Vygotsky, also known as Lev Vygotsky. He worked in Moscow in the 1920s and died of tuberculosis in 1934 at the age of 37. So young and so brilliant. He had no laboratory, no funding, almost no English readers, and a body of work that the Soviet government suppressed for 2 decades after he died. Okay, by the way, this is a thread or a post by Itesham Ali or Itesham 2005 at Itesham IHTESHAM 2005. Always great to read his work? I hope so. He produced the foundational theory of human cognition actually develops. So what? He produced the foundational theory of how human cognition actually develops. Yes. And the central piece of that theory was a behavior almost every adult is faintly embarrassed about. Wow, Vygotsky noticed that young children talk to themselves constantly. They narrate their own actions. They argue with imaginary opponents. They instruct themselves through tasks out loud. The dominant theory at the time, from the Swiss psychologist Jean Piaget, said this was a sign of cognitive immaturity that children would eventually grow out of as they learned to think properly. Vygotsky said the exact opposite. He argued that this self-directed speech was the most important cognitive event in the entire developmental window, because it was the moment a child first started to use language as a tool to control their own mind. Wow, that sounds genius. Moreover, in 1920 or 30, the child was not failing to think. The child was learning how to think by externalizing the process and listening to themselves do it. He predicted that as children matured, this out loud self-talk would not disappear, it would go underground. It would become silent inner speech, which is the running monologue every adult has inside their own head for the rest of their life. The voice you hear when you read this sentence is the direct descendant of a 4-year-old narrating their own block tower. For 50 years, almost nobody outside Russia had access to his work, and the few researchers who did pick it up who did pick it up could not get funding to test it. Then, in the early 2000s, what? The experiments finally started to pile up, and what they found was that Vygotsky had been right about something even more important than he knew. What? What's that? The first major study came from Gary Lupian at the University of Wisconsin and Daniel Zwingli at the University of Pennsylvania in 2012. They ran a simple visual search experiment. Participants were shown 20 images at once and asked to find a specific object, like a banana or a chair. In one condition, they searched silently. In the other condition, they were told to say the name of the object out loud to themselves while looking for it. Wow, clever design, as always. In this show, we pick the best. The participants who spoke the target name out loud found the object significantly faster, with higher accuracy than the participants who searched in silence. Okay. With higher accuracy than the participants who searched in silence. The effect was strongest when the spoken word matched a familiar object the brain already had a strong category for. Saying the word out loud literally tuned the visual system to detect that thing better. The researchers called it the level feedback effect, and the implication was that the act of vocalizing a goal physically changes how the brain processes the word while pursuing it. Physically changes? I wanna know more about that physical change. The second major study came out of the University of Michigan and Michigan State in 2017, fairly recent. The lead researchers were Ethan Cross and Jason Moser, and they used both EEG and fMRI to record what happens inside the brain when people talk to themselves while emotionally upset. They asked participants to recall painful autobiographical memories and reflect on them in two different ways. Some used the first person, saying things like, "Why I am feeling this way." Others used the third person, referring to themselves by their own name, saying things like, "Why is John feeling this way?" Ooh. What's better? I don't know. Let's see. The brain scans showed that the simple act of switching from first person to third person, even silently, decreased activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for rumination and self-referential pain. Within a single second of using their own name instead of the word I, participants showed measurable lower emotional reactivity. Yeah, detachment from the character, The shift required no extra cognitive effort. It cost the brain nothing, and it worked. Yeah, the economy of the brain is amazing. The energetic economy of the brain is amazing. 20 watts? For all this beauty, Cross described the mechanism in his interviews. Talking to yourself by name creates a small amount of psychological distance from your own experience. Your brain processes the situation more like a problem belonging to someone else, which means it can analyze it. It can analyze it instead of drowning in it. Beautiful. In hypnosis, we use a third-person story to evoke more engagement in the listener. If I tell the listener, you can do this or you have to do that, the person's gonna be defensive. If I say, oh, I know a person that when was in your situation did this or that, that's more persuasive if you want. People who talk through problems out loud are not anxious or unstable. They are running an externalized version of a process the rest of us are running silently and worse. The kindergartner narrating their block tower, the surgeon muttering through a procedure, the engineer pacing a hallway describing a bug to nobody, the athlete repeating a cue to themselves before a free throw. They are all using the same ancient mechanism that builds and steers human thought. You can run the experiment yourself the next time you are stuck on something hard. Stop trying to solve it silently in your head. Say it out loud. Describe what you're seeing. Walk yourself through the steps as if you were explaining it to a colleague who's not in the room. And when something genuinely upsets you, switch to your own name. Ask why this person is feeling this way instead of why I am feeling this way. So, talking in third person is not an indication of craziness, like they taught us all. Since forever, the voice you have been taught to keep quiet your entire life is one of the oldest pieces of cognitive technology you own. Most people are still embarrassed to use it. That is true. You can talk to your dog or to your cat. Does it count? Writing down everything as to-do list also helps us. Take an example. Murakami, the Norwegian wood author, spent 5 to 10 minutes every single day and write down the thoughts. Okay, that's one. I think I'm gonna do one because we are so good. I hope the connection is working. No, it's not working, it's cutting. Okay, I have to check that, so I'm not gonna continue just in case it's failing, glitching. So thank you very much for being here. I hope you found this entertaining or useful. So, see you the next one. Goodbye.
Come on and cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river